Welcome to the 6th episode of Nerds on Nerdy Stuff. I'm Josh.
I'm Ben.
I'm Jonathan.
Yeah, you might notice we have a new cast member today. We're trying this out to see if we can have a different counterpoint to make it a bit more exciting for you guys, the viewers. And with all that being said, we're going to go and get started.
Yeah.
What we got with today, Ben?
Well, we've got a director for Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah. The guy from What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, the great New
Is
Zealand.
has that been confirmed, or is that still just he's in talks?
It was
for
speculation last week. They were in talks. I think it might be confirmed for this week.
Okay.
It's confirmed in my heart.
I
want it.
I'm down for it. It's good.
Flight of the Conchords holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah,
so
I
he's
mean-
involved with that.
Yep. It's anything great that's coming out of New Zealand. I'm sure he's had a hand in.
And with
Except for
with the tone of that walk to that Mordor fun run was never a good thing. But with the tone of Thor Ragnarok too, being like the apocalyptic kind of stuff, it's going to have to be with Thor Ragnarok, at least from the comic world. It's going to need a bit of levity to balance it out too.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be the guy to do it.
Yeah, definitely, because that would be some really, really heavy stuff. And the first Thor was fine because, you know, it's a kind of an intro showing off pretty stuff. My wife didn't care too much, other than Chris Hemsworth had that like shirt off.
Yeah. Every woman.
Yeah, everyone.
Dropped
And
in.
That was the only reason I went to the
that.
movie. I'll be honest with you.
It was
Really
really fucking nice. But the second one had all the jokes in it and a lot of the warm-heartedness.
Yeah.
A lot of people hated it, but
I loved it.
I loved it. I really liked it. I like Dark World. But going into something even darker, even stranger, more magical, we're going to need somebody to really break that ice for the rest of the people out there, not just us three.
Yeah, and if they're going to have like Marvel's version, like one of their versions of Satan, pretty much with Surtur, they're going to need a lot of levity to balance that out too. That's like some brimstone stuff.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the storyline, but I like the idea of getting this out-of-the-box director for it. But
Yeah,
he's going to have to bring some kind of lightheartedness to
it's
it.
been good for Marvel so far too, with the Russo brothers with Civil War.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I said,
Right.
so much so that they're pulling them on for the Infinity War 1 and 2 and stuff.
So something I just thought of. You mentioned that Surtur is kind of the devil figure in Marvel, or one of the devil figures in Marvel, because in Marvel there is no devil. There's just
Yeah.
a bunch of people that assume the role. They could introduce Mephisto. They did get the rights to
Spider-Man.
Ghost Rider back.
Yeah, I give that too.
So,
Ooh.
yeah, right? Like, it's like a
That'd
whole...
be a cool tie-in, like down the road.
Damn.
They could
There's
do Ghost Rider.
so much, and like it makes me really happy.
They could even do like how Mephisto interacts with Spider-Man too. Those are always pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him quipping with Mephisto is always good.
It is good as long as they don't do the one more day.
Yeah.
Or they do one
But
more
then they
day.
had to bring like the one above all, which is like Marvel's God, which is kind of weird. That's a really heady thing too.
Yeah,
in comic world.
I think
wise.
that's even more hard than the devil. Anyways,
Yeah, but moving on from that, they also announced Marvel is going to put out the Ant-Man sequel, which wasn't on the original slate, but it's going to be titled Ant-Man and the Wasp for June 2018.
Right, we just got some more details about Phase 3, pretty much. We got Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we've got 3 more movies that were unnamed.
which could be phase 4 or just like not in a phase, you know, like there's
Yeah.
no,
It could
there's,
be out of phase.
yeah, out of phase. There's no anything behind those yet, in just pure speculation. But before we get to doing that fun part of speculation, dude, did you guys like Ant-Man? I don't know if you guys
I
have
loved
talked about
Ant-Man. I was happy too with the whole Edgar Wright falling off thing. I was kind of worried for a little bit.
Right.
Then they brought in Peyton Reed, which is more of like another comedy director, but he did phenomenally.
He wrote enough of this, Edgar Wright did. He wrote enough of it that his fingerprints are still all over it. You could still tell there's a lot
especially
of
in the
Edgar Wright.
military stuff. And,
Yeah.
it worked out
I
really
think
well.
a lot of
didn't
it.
Adam McKay help do the rewrite too after?
I thought it was something about Adam McKay.
Yeah, like he helped do a rewrite on it after like what you're saying. Can't remember his name now. Edgar Wright. Edgar Reed departed. Sorry. Yeah, that was a brain fart.
That's
You're
cool.
welcome, Internet.
Yeah, thanks, Keystone.
I mean,
Yeah.
that movie, like, if you took out the comic book aspect of it, it's still like a good heist movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the
It's good
comics.
buddy heist, buddy, just, you know.
Right, it's...
Baskin Robbins always finds out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so I already mentioned this once, but like my wife loves Ant-Man, and so it's really, really important to me that my wife liked these things.
Yeah, it's important to you.
It's important to me
It's
because
easier
I
for
like
you
these
to
things.
go to the movies if she's along with it.
There's that. There's me and my friends just talk about this. Like I'll catch up with you guys and talk about it. Catch up with my cousins and talk about it. My mom will talk about it. It's
and so she can be involved in the conversation.
yeah, exactly. So with her being able to be tied in, it's a big thing. So as soon as Ant-Man was announced, I got a hold of her right away, and she was just giddy, and it's just like this is a good sign. It's a real good sign.
And how like off the wall the character Ant-Man is too, like in the realm of the Marvel Cinematic Universe proper as it sits. Like Ant-Man, like they've made jokes about it too in the movie. Like, are we set on the name? Because it is, it's a really like '60s name. Like they haven't had like a man behind it and all.
So straightforward.
Yeah.
So at least we're gonna get like Black Panther, which is kind of the same thing, but doesn't have man attached to it.
Black Panther's like almost like an under the table racism.
Man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's barely under the table. It's just
reverse albino leopard.
Like peeking out from here from under the table. Too.
Hey, I'm down.
It's Black Panther. The title, the name itself is. I mean, it's '60s racism. It's but in a Black Power sort of way. I mean, Black Panther.
I mean, I don't know.
When was Black Panther created? Because I don't know when that character was created. But
I couldn't tell you.
It was.
I want to say late '60s.
Which makes sense.
I'm not sure because I don't follow.
It makes sense that Marvel kind of jumps on the civil rights bandwagon and
all the time.
Yeah,
and DC is always behind too. It seems like with that kind of stuff. Like how I think didn't Marvel address drugs first, and then DC had to do it later on with like
Green Arrow and Speedy,
the heroin thing.
Oh yeah.
I remember like there's always that one iconic panel like talking about Green Lantern. Yeah, he's doing that too, but like in that same book because they had at the time both of them weren't selling that good, so they amalgamated Green Lantern.
Right. They're buddies.
Yeah, but like they were addressing the whole racism thing in the '70s or maybe late '60s, and like they had this older black man saying like, "You help the purple and the green man, but you never help the black man or whatever." And Green Lantern was like, "Well, shit, he's right. I'm not doing shit at home. Like I'm out like slinging the ring in space, but not doing shit for Earth. You know, it was kind of cool. It was a really heavy-handed way to do it, but it was like DC's heavy-handed way to do it.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to Marvel.
We got some, not racism.
We got some Bryan Cranston stuff being talked about.
Yeah, Bryan Cranston expressed an interest about being a Marvel villain.
Yeah.
Oh, right. The thing that gets me is he was like, "Oh, yeah, I want to be a nasty guy," but then they were like, "Well, who do you want to be?" And he's like, "I don't know, let's make somebody up."
Yeah.
And I don't want that. Me personally, I don't like the Ultimate Universe. I do like the cinematic universe, but it's the cinematic universe, so it's its own thing. So we can play with it. We can let it be. I want to see it happen on its own. I don't want brand new, made up characters.
See, I don't see the issue as long as it stays in the cinematic universe. It's kind of like how,
Agent Coulson.
Yeah.
If it's in cinematic universe, it'll be in the comics.
If the character is good enough, they can fold him into the Marvel.
I guess there's not a problem with it, especially if it's Bryan Cranston, because this guy can do anything.
Well, who would he be if we pick someone from the universe?
Got some ideas.
Yeah, go ahead, lay them on us. I'm curious.
Green Goblin.
Green Goblin's been done. He's just like Marvel's Joker, though.
Barely.
Cassidy, Carnage.
He's too old to be Cletus Cassidy, man.
We don't know that.
That's true. I guess he's just
we don't know that.
And then you have to have Venom, too, because we're not sure if Venom's allowed with the whole Marvel-Sony deal.
I mean, we don't know.
I like that idea of him being Carnage.
I think he would be really cool as Carnage because he can be really straight.
He wants to be really nasty.
Funny. He wants to be nasty. Yeah. He can be crazy. We've seen him do all this stuff.
He can be very dark.
That's as nasty as Marvel goes too with Carnage. I think. Yeah.
I like that idea.
That is literally the darkest he goes.
But that's not going to happen. He's going to make something else, make something up, or he's not going to be in it.
Are we supposed to see Mr. Sinister in the X-Men? I guess it's going to be an X-Men character. Never mind. Yes. I was thinking I could see him being like a weird version of Mr. Sinister.
Well, how about this for speculation? We got the 3 new movies coming out.
Yeah.
We have some ideas of what Fox is doing. They have all these ideas going forward, but we also know how successful the whole idea of the Sony sharing Spider-Man is going on. What if they finally cut the deal? Because, and this is where I pull my excitement from, during New York Comic-Con, which is also going on this weekend, Hasbro had all their toy lines out. They have a new X-Men line. What does it mean?
Yeah, it's true, because Marvel, for the longest time, has been like sort of phasing out Fantastic Four and X-Men, like their comic line. Yeah. They haven't seen like a Fantastic Four action figure in years, it seems like.
Which is okay. I mean,
no one's really buying Fantastic Four anyways. But let's be honest, they're like the founding family of Marvel. Let's be honest.
I would really love to see those 3 movies be an X-Men, maybe probably. Okay, so like the idea is like it'll probably be a Spider-Man. It'll probably be another like a new Avengers. That way they can bring Secret Avengers from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. And then it'll be whoever else is up for their 4th or 3rd or whatever movie. Mm-hmm. But I would wish it was X-Men, Fantastic Four, and then just whoever, Galactus. which is another Fantastic Four, but it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be if they negotiate the rights correctly.
I mean, they could be
You
so
really
many
think we're going
things.
to do an X-Men MCU movie already? Like, I mean, 3 years from now, but we're going to see.
Well, we're talking 2020. That's more than 3 years. It's 5 years.
It's a good clip away, yeah.
I mean,
But
I
think we'll see a Hulk movie before we see an
So
X-Men
for Bryan Cranston, at least, like, he could do a myriad of characters, like, involved in any of those movies.
But Bryan Cranston is a good enough actor, can play all those different roles. He could be in something that's already slated.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these movies aren't written at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So
they're still buying writers right now as they speak. Yeah.
I mean, he could be the Beyonder. Ooh, actually, he could be the Beyonder.
He could be Adam Warlock, too.
He could be Adam. Well, he could be Adam Warlock.
Who's the
He could
Beyonder?
be
I don't know the Beyonder.
Oh, so okay, the Beyonder is there's the story Secret War, and the Beyonder is this other cosmic being, kind of like Eternity, which there's
embodiments of like ethereal change, like eternity, entropy, death, and what's the life one? Infinity.
Yeah,
there's like 4 of them. Like, they represent like all the natural order in the Marvel universe.
So like that's highest level, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then below that, there's all kinds of guys. So there's like the Titans, which includes like Thanos and whatnot. There's the Celestials.
Galactus is probably part of that.
Right, somewhere in there.
Okay.
But the Beyonder is someone on that power level that has this cosmic power, can do things. He can pull people in, and he caused the first Secret War just for his own entertainment, really.
If you're interested in reading more about that stuff, look into the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. That explains a lot of it, too.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's what Marvel's doing with their cinematic universe anyways, too. They're leading up to the Infinity.
They are leading up to the Infinity
So
Gauntlet,
it would make kind of some sense, like, say the Avengers get overpowered by not Galactus, but Thanos, whenever he has the Infinity Gauntlet on, they're like, we need to appeal to a higher power.
Right.
And then, like, they could do that. But even then.
So where I was going with the Beyonder is we already have the Collector, who's literally on the same level.
Is he really that powerful? I know he has, like, has to have a means to get all that stuff, but I thought like he employed people.
He doesn't die. He can go anywhere he wants.
He has all that stuff.
Are those like innate powers, or does he have to have like craft and resources to do all that?
From what I understand, I haven't read too far into the older
iterations.
Iterations of his creatings, but I do know, like, following through like Annihilus or Conquest and all that stuff like that. The whole cosmic level was like the Gardener, the Collector, the Beyonder. Everybody who has a "the" in front of their name, outside of like the Daredevil.
Matt Murdock is a cosmic level enemy too.
He is blind.
Yeah, he's a pretty all right lawyer.
He only sees stars.
He's
perfect.
That's really good. So, I mean, I don't know. I have so much speculation and hope.
So Cranston could do the Beyonder. I think he'd do it justice too.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You need somebody to do some weird stuff. As long as it's not Johnny Depp, I think Marvel has anybody out there.
Johnny Depp.
But
Thank God Black Mass is doing good for him. At least.
I wouldn't bring
him
him
back around.
Well, so we've talked a little bit about X-Men. We've got an X-Men Apocalypse synopsis out now.
Yeah, the synopsis finally got dropped for them, and it's kind of like what you'd expect, essentially, with like the X-Men universe as it sits and how you think Apocalypse would fold into it. Like, it basically runs down how he's recruited Magneto and a few other powerful, disheartened mutants to be on his super team to destroy the Earth and create a new world order kind of thing. And Professor X and Mystique are going to have to team up again to stop him with a team of all new mutants, like comprised of Jean Grey and Cyclops.
Right. Jubilee, Psylocke.
Kind of like the X-Men 92 version of like X-Men, almost.
Yeah. It's disheartening to hear something that's like, oh man, it's just the same old shit. Why is it exciting to hear this? The exciting part is it's literally the same old shit from the comic books, and it's like, finally, maybe they're going to do something.
Yeah, and it's been done right in the comic books.
Yeah.
And on the small screen so many times, like, how can you not get it right on the big screen?
Yeah, you just copy and paste, and then make them look like Ivan Ooze, and you print money, right?
There were some other pictures that leaked out too of him. Like,
I did see that. It looked much better.
They hadn't been verified to be from Fox, but like it looks a lot better than the Ivan Ooze version of him.
right.
Way less purple, pretty much.
Yeah,
way less purple, and the lip was like big and
had like the crazy jawline, Iron Man jawline.
Yeah,
how he had
it looked much better.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited. I liked the last two.
Yeah, I'm excited because it's not going to be a Wolverine-centric movie too. It's supposed to be Mystique-centric. Supposedly, that's the idea.
And this is supposed to be her last one.
Is it really?
Yeah,
they're contracted wise, I guess.
I don't know if it's contract, but she's mentioned. I know I read somewhere. I don't know if it's been turned around by now because everybody who says, "Oh, I'm out after this one" or "I'm out after that one,"
and they see the paycheck and they're like, "Come back!"
Yeah, when they brought the dump trucks of money up to Chris Evans' house, he changed his mind real quick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I heard that Jennifer Lawrence is done with Mystique after this one.
That's fair.
Which, you know,
I feel like the last one was very Mystique centric. Like it was.
Yeah, she was kind of driving.
Wolverine was the lead.
He was the lead, but I think it was kind of secretly her storyline. Like she was kind of, it was really a lot about her
arc has almost been like every movie in the last since First Class has kind of revolved around Mystique and her choices to an extent.
So this is probably essentially the end of a trilogy for her.
Yeah, it's a Mystique or a Raven trilogy kind of, which is nice because it has like it's folded in all these other different versions of characters and stuff too. I really like how they handled the whole Holocaust thing with Magneto in First Class too.
So good.
I was like, man, that's some real shit. It really happened that way, unfortunately, but sketchy stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, Jonathan. We need to move on to some DC stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I hate DC.
DC is going to happen. Don't worry about it. We're coming back at you hard.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, through by way of a poster in the background of an interview, like it leaked out that they're working on a new Justice League animated series.
That's how it leaked.
That's how it leaked. And then like they questioned Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, who were involved in the original one.
Right.
And they said, yeah, we're working on a new one for 2016, in the fall of 2016.
And you know, as much as I hate DC, and I really do mean that, it's just pointless. Man, I love those cartoons.
They're so good.
Those are such good cartoons.
I know, right?
If those could come back and I could share them like with my nephew, you know, my nephew's 5 years old now. Man, he'll be 6 next year. Perfect.
Perfect.
Oh my god.
Because like they're heady enough to involve or to interest adults, but the plot points and the story elements, they're all laid out easily enough to where like anyone from 4 years old
to follow.
Yeah. And plus they're all kind of cherry picked too for like great storylines too.
Yeah.
Like there's one where Superman gets hit with a black mercy plant from Mongol.
Oh, right.
It's from the man who has everything storyline where like he was living in this imaginary world essentially created by the plant, and he was still alive on Krypton with his family, and he had to like in order to break the plant spell, he had to like essentially let his whole family die. To go back to the real world. It's a really heavy episode too, but it's a really good story. But they do that all the time, so you look forward to them doing that again too with other like stories and characters. And they've always done really well. That whole studio is just phenomenal. Andrea Romano, I think, does a lot of the voice casting for the DC.
That's something DC's always been strong about. Like every DC animated movie that pops up on Netflix, I'll watch.
Yeah, it's always been really good.
Pretty much all DC animations really.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is not fucking around. They're doing really good work.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about the Marvel animated stuff, like the last stuff, like the Avengers Confidential. It was just piss poor.
I'm hearing good things about the Guardians of the Galaxy, though.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it yet.
Some of the Earth's Mightiest Heroes and then Avengers Assemble. Avengers Assemble isn't nearly as good as Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Earth's Mightiest Heroes was oh my god.
I'd say it was on par with the Justice League animated show. For
absolutely, I would say it's right up there for me. It goes like, man, Batman the animated series, you know, the original.
Yeah.
God, man, that is like the best. And then X-Men.
Yeah.
Right? Like 90s X-Men.
Is that hard for you to say? I mean, did
you hear how hard I paused? And like my heart dropped. But yeah, no, I mean, because the X-Men was really great. It also had some really bad spots.
Yep, it did.
I loved it.
Real slow, and I loved the shit out of it, right?
Yeah.
But you go back and you watch Batman, and you're just like, this is such high quality every single episode.
Yeah.
And the art, everything about it, just so great.
Kevin Conroy is Batman.
God damn, right?
He is Batman.
So, no, just to hear that this is coming back. This is in that list of top. I'm sorry, I just jumped conversation.
It's fine.
But Justice League's up there too. And then the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, to me, better than the Justice League.
It's fine.
So it's very exciting to see Justice League come back. Back to the Guardians of the Galaxy, though. I haven't seen anything of it. I have it all like recorded on my DVR.
Yeah.
Some things I read as far as reviews say it's a little too close to the movies.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Everybody says they rip off the music, they ripped off the storyline for the first two episodes.
They got their own awesome mix, like a cosmic version.
Really?
Yeah, it's a very similar soundtrack, but it ties in right with
it's kind of what you have to do, though, really, because the audience doesn't know dick about the Guardians of the Galaxy. So they're going to pull from the existing knowledge of pop culture, like
that's kind of true.
And then eventually, maybe if they get like a second or third season, they're going to like, okay, let's get to the older versions of the Ravagers and older things in the Marvel universe.
Wasn't it Earth's Mightiest Heroes that they had a few episodes of the Guardians on?
They did. Yeah. But they were like the real Guardians.
Oh yeah.
The ones you're more familiar with.
They did have Adam Warlock on there too. Yeah.
Fun fact.
They had Martyr. Man, that shit's dark. Like,
they had the person who voiced Star-Lord on the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the same guy who voices Master Chief.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was like, it took me out of the show. I was like, that's Master Chief talking. What's going on here?
Master Chief.
Yeah, but more DC news, cinematically at least, too. Since Guillermo del Toro has rampant optimism for doing every single movie ever that's ever popped into his head, someone else has taken over the reins of Justice League Dark.
Well, we still don't know a director.
Yeah.
We've got another producer that's really pushing for it, and he's got the studio backing to really get it going.
Yeah, getting it filmed in like 2016 too, so they're hot to trot on this property.
We've got Scott Rudin, who's kind of backing it. He's been a part of a lot of great movies as a producer. He's a producer level, so he knows how to get good directors or work with great directors.
Yeah, he's produced a myriad of different genres as well.
Zoolander 2 to Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Zoolander 2.
So that's the range you
and even rhymes.
Yeah.
Zoolander 2 to the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yes. And
put that on a shirt, nerd.
But Guillermo del Toro is still going to be a part of it, though, as on a producer level.
Yeah, which is fine.
So we're not losing him.
So the only thing I know about Justice League Dark is Swamp Thing's on it?
Swamp Thing is involved later on, like with the new 52 reboot. I've only read the first 3 volumes of it, and it's been kind of hit or miss with like each story arc, but the characterizations of each character is pretty good. They write John Constantine just perfect in my eyes, at least.
Yeah, who else on the team?
Yeah, so who's the core
on the team that I'm familiar with? There's Zatanna, Madame Xanadu is like rotating in and out.
Okay.
John Constantine, Frankenstein, agent of Shade, like DC's version of supernatural defense people. It's Shade, like SHADE, like a what's it called?
Acronym?
Yeah, an acronym. Black Orchid was on there for a while too. Kind of like the rotating cast. I think Dead Man's on there as well. Boston Brand. Really cool stuff. You can do a lot of things visually with any of those characters. That would be really neat.
Sounds like Justice League Magic.
It's pretty much Justice League
Justice
Magic.
League Chris Angel.
The last volume is called the Death of Magic. Yeah, Street Magic.
Justice League Chris Angel.
Yes, Chris Angel. That's
the battle against who's the guy who's like
David Blaine. David Blaine versus Chris Angel. Mind Freak.
Yes, Justice League Mind Freak.
Yeah, but essentially it's like Justice League Magic, and it's going to exist in the same universe as like Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, but kind of off to the left or right, kind of how the Guardians is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
That's how they're explaining it, which makes sense because they can eventually tie it in because all of those characters have interactions because they're all in the DC Universe proper. Oddly enough, like one of the funnier moments in the comic that I was reading was when the Flash somehow got involved with them. Like he got like wrangled in like to the House of Mischief, which is like their base of operations, which can't be viewed by anybody no matter what you are. Like it's like this crazy mystical bullshit that like you expect from a comic book. But somehow the Flash got involved. He's like, what the shit is going on here? Like the Speed Force doesn't like it's not consistent there, and it's all this mystic stuff and different planes and dimensions.
They better pull that trigger because the Sanctum Sanctorum has the same thing. So Doctor Strange is going to have that, and everyone's going to be like, Marvel did that first.
It's true. That's true. Yeah, Marvel has a better shot at doing it well too. Like the idea of like a Sanctum Sanctorum because they had that director, the Horde director. I can't remember his name now.
Do you think they'll keep that scope pretty narrow though on that core group, or they're going to go ahead and automatically widen it with Swamp Thing?
They can pull in wherever they like. It all depends on how it's written and like if it goes organically. Swamp Thing fun, get it?
Great job.
Yeah, good job, man. It'd be really cool, because obviously Superman is strong. He's going to be button heads with Batman pretty soon. Rumors are we're going to see Doomsday. Doomsday. We're going to see a version of Doomsday.
Zombie Zod.
So yeah,
Aquazod.
Aquazod. Throwback. Callback.
When Doomsday beats the shit out of him and he finally wins and everything, like, oh god, like at least we got past that. But Batman's always doing the whole planning thing, like, oh, we need an answer for this, we need an answer for that. When the magic thing comes up, I hope it's the two of them just saying, like, admitting, like, oh shit,
we're out of our depth.
We need an answer for this.
But the Enchantress is going to be in Suicide Squad, and she's entangled with all of the supernatural stuff in the DC universe.
But
so that'd be a back door into
she was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
The Enchantress.
I did not realize there's a DC version of Enchantress.
There's a lot of.
That's what my mind was like. Wait, that was S.H.I.E.L.D. Wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because like
that's just Thor. What are you doing?
I almost think the only reason they're putting the Enchantress in Suicide Squad is because she doesn't really. She fits in like the original iteration of Suicide Squad in like the 70s and stuff, but like the newer version gets more like Killer Croc and Harley Quinn and stuff.
Right.
But I think they're going to have her name cinematically put up in the DC universe first. Because the Enchantress is a big Thor heel.
Right.
So it would make sense, like, hey, before you think of the Enchantress in the Marvel universe, think of the Enchantress in the DC universe.
You got the Sanctum Sanctorum first.
Yeah, it's one of those like pissing Matt's math. Think It's just speculation on my thoughts, at least. It could be wrong entirely, but that'd be my motivation for doing it. It's like, hey, let's get this name in their mouth from the DC side first before they do the Marvel side, because they don't
always trying to stick things in people's mouths.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Constantly.
If it fits, I sits, man.
Speaking of sticking things in mouths, we got Street Fighter V coming up.
Fists in mouths.
What a segue,
right?
Thanks. Street Fighter V is coming out. You guys are psyched, right?
Yeah.
I'll play it once or twice.
Yeah, so I'll get beaten at it by John when it comes out, probably.
I mean, our good friend Jason Rudolph's a big fan. He's
that guy will never play.
He never actually plays you in a game he knows he can't win.
He might be a little afraid. I don't know.
I didn't say it
call
like
him
that.
up.
I'm call him out. Jason
Rudolph.
You used to work with my wife. You sleep with my friend.
Yes.
You're supposed to fight me in Street Fighter. You talked all kinds of mad shit online.
Different Jason. But anyways, get real.
It was the same Jason. Anyways,
Street Fighter V.
You talk trash. I talk trash. Everyone talks trash. But when it came down to it, you went in the other room. So literally just went into the other room that day. Over at your house, playing Halo. And
that's right.
I got destroyed because I suck at Halo. But I don't suck at Street Fighter. I think I know a little bit about it. I'm playing for a long time. Really, really excited for Street Fighter V.
Semi-professional.
There's like a class level for fighting games. There's like Mortal Kombat for the white kids. Street Fighter's for the Asian kids.
Yeah.
I think it's
King of Fighters is for the Mexican kids.
Exactly.
And as a white Mexican who's way into Asians, I play them all.
I was like, you're married to an Asian chick?
Yeah.
Qualifies you to be really good at Street Fighter. So let's get this happen.
What's changed with Street Fighter V then? Like they added new characters to the roster, mechanics change?
New characters, a little bit of old characters. It's really interesting, man. I could literally go on for hours, so go ahead and mark that timer.
We got new characters that just were released this week, right? Like they were just
there was
black chick, I think.
She's Colombian.
Oh, she's Colombian.
She's actually Sean's older sister. Sean's from Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Shaun White?
Sean White's ginger and pale.
Not Sean White.
We don't know.
Actually, it's Sean Masuda. And but he was like
one of Phil Collins in the Sista studio.
It'd be really cool if this bit never happens because I just keep derailing it. No, she's really cool. She's showing pretty good potential. She's doing more of a jiu-jitsu kind of grappling at the same time, a little bit of like capoeira, not exactly, but
breakdance fighting.
A little breakdance fighting for you. The big change in Street Fighter V is that they're going back to the style of Street Fighter 4, which is a little more, Street Fighter 3. Instead of the Street Fighter 4 style that's out now, Street Fighter 4, you kind of can control the match via gimmicks.
Instead like traps and spacing
like traps. Well, spacings and everything. But more like you said, traps. By the way the mechanics work, you can kind of abuse certain situations to cause the match to always be in your favor if you can get the first knockdown.
Really?
Street Fighter V is going more towards the spacing super important. Combos aren't long or difficult to do. Damage is very high, so if you can get in there and do just a few hits, it's as if you did a lot of work. And it really comes back to the whole you versus me, right? The characters aren't super deep, but it's very much the mind game and the player versus player, which is insanely more enjoyable than just getting defeated by the game.
So it's rather than like being like a crazy chess match where the other ones, how they were, this is more like kind of just two dudes going into a bar fight, essentially. Like, you set each other up.
Yeah, and one guy can throw fireballs and the other guy can teleport.
Yeah, but like at the core of it, like it's more like you said, like a one-on-one kind of thing. You're not having to overthink every single situation. Like,
correct.
Play 5 or 6 moves ahead. Like, okay, he's got 3 frames to do this. I've got 4 frames to do that.
Right. In Street Fighter 4, it was very much exactly that. You're watching frames, you're counting frames. You have to know that, Akuma knocked me down, so depending on what he does in the next frame, if he flipped, did he kick? Did he not kick? I have to dash this way or that way.
Yeah.
I need a fuzzy guard, which is like a whole other thing.
I'm lost.
Yeah.
Keep going.
It just gets so deep into all these levels of mechanical bullshit that I love, by the way. Street Fighter 4 is like my favorite fucking game. It's really disheartening, disengaging, and pretty much any other word you can think of. When you get to that higher level, especially if there's a mismatch in players. So it's really cool to think that we're going to go back to a style to where it's like come in, have fun. Maybe you're the best, maybe you're not. You can still be viable because the damage is so high. They're adding a lot of new mechanics, like no more focus attack, which came from Street Fighter 4, which really fixes a lot of different stuff. But then each character has their own special skill that they can do. Like Ryu can do parry, which was a thing in Street Fighter 3.
Parry, you said?
A parry, yeah. Okay. A parry, like move comes in, you can just turn it off.
Turn it into attack.
Yeah, you get the advantage after you do
sort of, yeah.
I'm doing the hand because that's what Ryu does.
Yes. Talk to the hand and then talk to it. Okay.
But then, like, every single character also has this new, like, trigger that you can do. And when you trigger it's called the V trigger, right? Because Street Fighter 5, the V, right?
Yeah, you can't do the X trigger because that's more combat.
Right, yeah. Street Fighter's not at 10 yet. We're too good for that. So, like, you hit both medium punches to do your V skill. That's like Ryu's parry. And then you have your V trigger, whereas, every single character has this different, like, ability that they turn on. It might last for a little while. It might change the match very dramatically. They just last week, they announced Zangief. And when he turns on his V trigger, he does his little spin around move, right? His red cyclone. But now it sucks people in if you're in your V trigger. So,
really?
It really ruins the spacing of the match, which is really, really hectic for fighting Zangief because you want to space him very properly before you lose all your life from one grab.
Yeah.
So it's really, really exciting. A lot of new characters, a lot of old characters. What's even more interesting, in my opinion, is they're bringing back a lot of old characters, and they're completely different.
Really? That's kind of cool. Like a reimagining of, like, which character do you think you're going to play with the most that's been reimagined?
Colonel Gao, right?
Actually not going to be in the game.
That's the one?
That's the one. The one you call out is not going to be in the game. But I think I'm going to play everybody because, like I mentioned before, it's going to be really simple. I'm very, very excited to play a character, R. Mika, who hasn't been in the game since Street Fighter Alpha 3 back in the 90s. And very excited.
What about Beta or Gamma 3?
Same with so many Street Fighter titles.
Oh, I think they're like Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter 1 Alpha, Street Fighter 1 Alpha .03. It's like these crazy different.
And then at a certain point, they started adding HG.
It makes complete sense. Yeah, like I'm not mad at it. It's teach their own by all means. But like, if the game is different, it's Street Fighter 6. I'm sorry.
So here's what it is they have a lot of pride in their game, right? So what they do is they build an engine and go from there, right? Like, so Street Fighter 2 engine lasted for 10 full years, and it had different iterations of itself because they were like, okay, here's the 8 original players, and then we have 4 bosses, and everybody's like, let me play the bosses. Like, okay, well, we can also rebalance the game, put in 4 new characters, and call it Championship Edition, and so on and so on and so on. And since there was no way to, like, go online and update an arcade machine, you had to put out a whole new machine. And that happened all the way up until Street Fighter 4. So, asshole. But yeah, so speaking to that, right? How annoying is that? Like, seriously, from a non-fighting game, a non-Street Fighter.
Well, it's hard to, like, know, like coming over to your house to play games and stuff. That was always one of the bigger turnoffs for me because, like, well, I only play Street Fighter 4 Alpha. Well, I play Street Fighter 4 Turbo. It's like, aren't they kind of the same thing? And they're like, no, they're completely different, you fucking noob.
Yeah, I would play Street Fighter 4 Turbo HD. So it's a different one. Completely. It's a different game.
720p or 1080?
1080, but it's completely different. Yeah. Different game entirely. It plays differently.
So because of that, which is...
all the characters are in blackface.
But there's kind of a stigma against Street Fighter because of that.
It's a steep learning curve is what it boils down to, I think. That was what always scared me away, is how much the learning curve is.
It's so tough as a not very good fighting game player. Like, I play Mortal Kombat, and I can button mash, and I can win.
Sure.
I play Street Fighter, and I just don't win. There's no winning. There's no winning for me as a non-skilled player.
Yeah, Street Fighter does require a bit of practice.
So is the new Street Fighter going to have, like, an element to where a person could just not walk in off the street with no fighting experience?
I kind of hope it doesn't.
But not like hope to beat a grandmaster or whatever. But have a little fun with it, playing a moderate level.
I think it's a fighting game with integrity, and Mortal Kombat kind of isn't.
They sell out really easy. I'll give them that.
I would not say that Mortal Kombat isn't. I think especially 10. Man, 10's really good. It's really smart, but it is a lot more accessible to casual players.
That's what I like about Mortal Kombat personally.
I think Street Fighter 5 is going to take a step towards the accessible while keeping its integrity of being that very skill-based game.
Yeah.
And that goes back into the using more or giving out more damage per hit.
Okay.
So, like, as an unskilled player, you don't know as many combos, but big combos don't exist in this game.
Okay.
So a 3-hit combo is the biggest combo you might be able to get, and it's going to do the same damage that you're doing off of a couple of different hits.
Yeah.
So it really balances out that I'm able to press a bunch of buttons at the very specific frame on the screen, and the guy who can just like, hey, I can jump high kick and crouch heavy kick, you know, like. So that's another one of those interesting things that they're going to do. And playing in the beta, it feels really good. Yeah. As a guy who really likes to take advantage of the bullshit of Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 feels fantastic. I can't wait for it to get here.
Cool. I'm looking forward to trying it. I mean, I'll try any game once.
I'll play it a couple times.
Yeah,
let's do it, man. Speaking of, October 22nd through the 25th, the next round of betas is open. So if you have it pre-ordered, you're playing. If you have it on PC, you can play PC versus PS4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I guess you have like a controller for your PC, but that just seems back-asswards.
Anyway.
Man, PC game is way above you. I mean,
it's above my pay grade, I'll put it that way.
If I could afford it, I would be doing it. But Xbox One is just for convenience for me.
Yeah. But, do they have Street Fighter on Xbox now?
No.
I think it's always been on Sony, it seems like.
It's not going to be on on Xbox One. It's going to be PS4, PC only for Street Fighter 5. Yeah. They're actually not coming out with an arcade as of right now, even though there's a rumor that it could go.
Arcades are kind of dying anyways.
Oh, they're not. I think they're going to come back because of the arcade bars, the barcades.
Yeah, but
the up-down for Kansas City.
Are they going to buy like brand new, like, I don't know how much.
Yeah, I don't know that Barcade's going to buy a $28,000 machine.
Yeah, some drunk dude pour like a friggin' Jägermeister.
They might only because a place like Uptown that we have in Kansas City is a kind of a chain. Like the way it works for us with Uptown is they have like a warehouse full of arcade games, and they cycle through for all their locations. So a place like that could do something like that. But they could rotate their Street Fighter 5 arcade game if they
have to monitor because it's going to be worth a lot more money than like say an old Donkey Kong stand up.
Yeah,
because like if someone were to spill like,
but they throw that
on like a $25,000
they throw that like right in front of the bar where it can be observed. You know?
But like you're not going to be able to observe drunk people. They're drunk.
Yeah,
the bars are packed. I don't see them making that investment. That's what I'm saying. I don't see them making that investment.
Maybe not. But I'm just saying
it really is a $20,000 investment.
Huh?
It's a $20,000.
Yeah, it's going to be like an expensive machine.
Yeah. So I don't see that happening. I also think that would, like, Uptown has the that Pac-Man versus game.
Yeah,
that's the newest game they have.
Okay,
that's
it's hella fun. Yeah, I love that game. Yeah. But it's the newest game they have, and it's because it can run so lightly on such any kind of way that you just, you put it out there. Dave & Buster's had it on a giant screen with 4 separate panels. It was really cool. Huge footprint on the floor, but it attracted a lot of dudes. Uptown has
no chicks, just dudes.
Yeah, Uptown has it on a specific table you can set your beer on, which is really nice. Yeah, it's about drinking a lot of beer while you play games. Street Fighter doesn't fit either one of those things, and still costs $20,000.
And that's the thing too. Coming back to like the hardcore players for Street Fighter, they take it seriously. It's not like an afternoon like, oh, I'm gonna go have fun. I'm gonna play Street Fighter. No, they're gonna spend like all evening getting this combo down or this timing down because it's. A lot of times it's not just a hobby. It's like it's their job for a lot of them. Because they make their living.
It's a lifestyle. That's what I was going to call it. Yeah. It really is a lifestyle. What's really strange is we're coming up on Street Fighter 5. We've been playing Street Fighter 4 for 7-8 years now, and for 7 or 8 years, I've pretty much only played one character, studied one character. Wrote books, wrote novels, that taught other people how to play him so that they could fight against him, and now it's going to be gone.
Forte's not coming back?
Forte's not coming back.
Oh, that's too bad.
No, there's no way. It's like, let's see, who's the most popular characters? Definitely not Forte. Who's the least popular?
I remember hearing about you campaigning for him, like trying really hard to make it popular.
Dude, is there potential for like DLC for that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that goes back to what I was saying with the whole versioning thing. Supposedly Street Fighter 5 is going to be the only version. They're going to roll out updates via the internet. They're going to be very specific. They're not going to be like Mortal Kombat's. Once a week, the entire game changes. It's going to be very, very strict from what they're saying.
So
there's only going to be Street Fighter 5. There's not going to be Street Fighter 5 Second Chance, Alpha Golden Beta.
Alpha Golden Koi.
Yeah.
So Alpha Golden Toy California roll.
Yeah. It's going to be a strong build from the initial.
Yeah.
Right. And they're doing this beta thing. They've been testing it for 2 years already, from what other people say. And then they've already done 1 round of betas, went really successfully. They're about to do the second round where they're going to do the cross-platform testing. And then there's still 3 more rounds of betas before it comes out in the end of March. So they're really doing their best to make sure things are balanced. They're adding in characters just kind of as they go along. You get to, feel it out. It's, I don't know, it sounds like a dream project to me, but
How would you get on like to be a tester for them? Like to get paid by the? Is it who makes it now?
It's Capcom.
Capcom still?
Yeah.
I almost said Namco. I was like, what's about
Namco's Tekken.
Yeah,
which is a new Tekken coming out, and Pokken Tournament, which is the Pokemon fighting game.
What?
Yes.
When's that coming out?
It's going to be out on Wii U, I think, right around the time that Street Fighter comes out. So
when you thought animal abuse couldn't get any more fun.
They abuse each other, so it's like playing around like your dogs, right?
Yeah.
You're controlling the animals, man.
Yeah.
I can see Michael Vick cutting a promo for that pretty easy.
Cool.
But on that somber note, we're going to go to our weekly pull list.
Yeah.
And this week I've got 3 or 4 books pulled out. Kind of light for me personally. If you're more of a Marvel heavy fan with their whole all new, all different Marvel, you might be pulling more books than I am. But I'm going to start on the DC side and go with Justice League of America number 4. It's been written and drawn by the same guy, Brian Hitch, and it's not out of continuity, but it's all canon. But it's all like self-contained stories. Like you don't need to know any backstory on anything that's going on. You don't need to know anything else that's going on in the DC universe at all right now. It's just a fun Justice League story. And it's wrapping up on their first arc pretty soon. It's going to be issue number 4. Probably like 6 or 7 issues in. I imagine they'll wrap up this arc about Superman's Kryptonian god Rao coming in and being like a Christ figure, so to speak.
Wow, I never even thought about Kryptonian
gods and stuff. Yeah, it's really weird, but it's kind of cool because like Superman's like, oh my god, it's like Kryptonian Jesus, pretty much. He's here and he's actually healing people and curing them, doing all this stuff that like world governments are saying they can't do. Like we can't go like fix this problem here because blah 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 bureaucracy. He's like done, and everyone's like, well, should he be doing this and shit? And everyone's like, no, man, Rob's the shit. But Batman's all like, I don't trust this motherfucker. So like that's the whole tagline of this one.
Was he a sassy black lady there?
Yeah, I don't trust him. He's in the back cave with Alfred practicing his weave. He's gonna whip in Nene pretty soon too.
Oh gosh,
don't worry about that. But after that, it's gonna be Civil War number 5 on the Marvel side. That's more of the Secret Wars Battle World tie-in stuff. They relived, I guess, the Civil War universe if it were to go further than it did in the actual comics, where Steve got, spoiler alert, shot and died.
Steve Rogers.
Yeah, Steve Rogers. But it's pretty interesting, too, because it's a whole different angle on it.
I know they're really trying to stay away from calling it, but, I mean, you call it like it is, they're what-if stories.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. Like, they wanted to further flesh out these characters and universes because they are that interesting.
Yeah. Is it just like a one-off run, or are they going to do like separate writers doing their own what-ifs?
Right now they're doing like a what-if run, like with, like I said, a Secret Wars tie-in. They like add an excuse to do like
everything.
Anything that was popular in the universe. Yeah.
Everything.
Like remember that one time that Spider-Man was a pig? Here's a 5-issue run about it. But like bigger stories like Civil War, it's kind of interesting too because it's gotten all the way to the point where like they divide the country in half, and one half called the Iron, which is Iron Man's side, obviously. Yeah. The other side's the Blue, which is Steve Rogers' side. And they quarrel back and forth because one side has resources and the other one doesn't, and all this other like conspiracy, spy bullshit. But it's pretty good. It's been written by Charles Soule, which is doing a real good job.
That's some Man of the High Castle shit right there. That's some Philip K. Dick, old school, right?
Could be, yeah.
That's kind of what it is.
But then sticking with Marvel 2 for the third book this week, it's going to be Uncanny Avengers number 1. Jerry Dugan, I'm not really familiar with his work, but I'm curious to see.
Deadpool.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right, Deadpool.
He wrote Brian Posehn on Deadpool.
So he's taken over with the new event, the Uncanny Avengers, which is going to have, I think it's going to have Deadpool as a player on the team. Is the first time he was an Avenger. I think.
He also wrote Nova.
You wrote the newer Nova, or
Little Sam. Yeah, okay then.
Yeah,
I fell off with that one. Like after like issue 15, I got bored.
It was all right.
I like it when Jeff Loeb was writing it.
Jeff Loeb was, yeah.
When they started out with it,
I don't know. It was solid for me all the way through, but I was following it along with Original Sin. You know,
yeah, it makes more sense too.
That's I like to read all the big crossovers, so pick up all the accoutrements with that. But yeah, this is going to be the first time that Daredevil's on the team. I'm totally jumping in on that.
Daredevil on the team?
Did I say Daredevil? I meant Deadpool.
So yeah, Deadpool's going to be coming on Team Spider-Man.
Right.
Like Pietro, Quicksilver, old Steve Rogers too. That's one of the things that's going to be interesting about Secret Wars 2 is how these Secret Wars characters, like people from Civil War, they're bleeding over into the regular MCU after this. Like Old Man Logan is going to be part of the X-Men. Not like
X-Men, right?
Yeah, I think it's what it's called. Like, I can't remember what the book is, but it's going to be like the old man version who has seen some shit. And
What's really interesting about that, and I'm looking forward to that book, I know it's not coming out just yet, is Jean Grey. Young Jean Grey is going to be on
solo book?
No, she's going to be on the Extreme.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know for myself, I'm only pulling Marvel stuff this week. Basically, every number one is going to get pulled for me.
Yeah.
Let's see, Secret Wars isn't dropping number 7 just yet. So
they're going like month to month.
Right. Yeah. They slowed down with their delivery on that. So I just finished 6. I'm so excited.
It's worth the wait too. Easton Rubik's art is so good.
It's so good. But yeah, the number ones are coming out. Guardians of the Galaxy is a high one on my list. Actually, it's the highest on my list, and it's the only thing that's really standing out to me. Yeah. So basically, anything number 1.
Yeah.
And then I'll have more to gush about next week.
Yeah. We had a bit of an extended episode this week, so we're clocking in pretty high. But thanks for sticking around with us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
See you.